Jonathan Turley with us on the phone, I believe. On camera.
Yes, you
Jonathan,
do.
good morning. Good to have you with us. Your headline take as you take all of this in this morning.
Well, we've been talking about this possibility of a Solomon-esque type of ruling by the court to take Wade off and leave Willis. The reason that's attractive is it avoids the cliff problem. You know, if he took Willis off the case, he'd have to take the entire office out of the mix. He'd have to reassign this to another set of prosecutors. That would cause considerable delay. It could also cause the dismissal of the case if those new prosecutors looked at this racketeering theory and said, like many of us, wow, this doesn't really hold together very well. So this avoided the cliff, but it did not avoid the questions that will inevitably come up. You know, it's like, you know, finding two people in a bank vault and taking one off to jail. I mean, the question is, you know, the appearance problem that the judge identified with regard to Wade was directly related to his relationship with Willis. They both testified in the same way. They were the two parts of this relationship, and yet only one of them was disqualified. And so that's going to lead to these questions. I mean, well, why should Willis escape that same penalty? The opinion leaves us feeling like the court went and shot the wounded.
Yeah, it's a great question. And there is always the question, unfortunately, of politics and the influence of politics potentially on this, because these are elected officials. They are up for election again in May. I believe all of the people involved here are up for, including the judge, up for election in May. So that may be why Judge Scott McAfee wanted to speak on his own behalf before this decision came down. And he spoke with WSB TV, and this is what he said. The message I want to convey is no ruling of mine is ever going to be based on politics. I'm going to be following the law the best I understand it. I just focus on the job I'm doing. I'm incredibly grateful for the last year I've been able to do this. I took this job not because I wanted to score partisan political points, didn't go looking for the spotlight. I did it because I love the law and giving people their day in court and being efficient about it. So, Jonathan, you know, there will be speculation that this was a political move on his part. It's the easier road for him to take in many ways to leave Fani Willis in this spot. But judging, based on what you watched in the courtroom, do you think that's fair?
Well, I have to say that I've been praising the judge, and I still believe that he has conducted himself in a fair and professional way. I think that this does take an element of courage for an elected state judge, because many people in Fulton County are not going to like the fact that he just disqualified Wade and gave credence to this theory of an improper relationship, an appearance issue that does touch upon Willis and her office. That's all for the good. The problem is the disjointed aspect of the opinion itself. It doesn't really hold together that well. The big question was, what is the standard? Is it just an appearance, or do you have to show an actual conflict? He indicates that he believes it is indeed the appearance standard. Well, if that's the case, I don't see how Willis could escape disqualification. Many people believe that both of these prosecutors lied on the stand, that there were false statements submitted to courts. The key about that is Willis and Wade are prosecuting people in this case for that very conduct. And so it's hard to see how Willis continuing the case does not undermine it in the eyes of the public and hurts the case overall. You know, in some ways, this result may actually appeal to Trump and his defendants. You know, they established that there was an improper relationship, at least for the purposes of disqualification, and they left a wounded Willis to continue on in the case. And she will stand accused of false statements as she prosecutes others for that type of conduct. And keep in mind, there are state efforts now to fully investigate this, including possible bar issues.
Yeah, the Georgia Senate has opened its own investigation. It's a great point because legally now the Trump team has the option to question her credibility all throughout the course of this, based on some of what we've seen so far in this.
Yeah, so the wheels haven't fallen off entirely, but they sure are wobbly at the moment. I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.